Then tell me, future boy, who's president of the United States in 1985?
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald Reagan? The actor? Then who's vice president? Jerry Lewis?
It's Sunday morning on CBS, and here again is Lee Cowan.
Michael J. Fox will forever be remembered for that role in Back to the Future. But his future was far from certain after he was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. Ever since, he's been trying to help others who suffer from it. Jane Pauley has left us this Sunday profile.
Throughout the 80s, Michael J. Fox was the personification of youthful physicality.
A little extra head bobble. You can't see it, but I have my hand on the edge of the couch. I'm always touching things.
A decade later, starring in the hit TV series Spin City,
Hands in pockets.
his main acting challenge was to act like someone who didn't have Parkinson's.
I grab my foot here.
But in the scene, you're supposed to be nervous, so it kind of works.
Well, my first choice would be to grab my foot as an acting choice, but it worked in the scene.
But the 100th episode, he presumed, was the last act of his acting career. The season finale was called Goodbye. He noticed the first troubling muscle tremor at the height of his career while filming Doc Hollywood in Florida.
And I came down to do an interview with you, and it's not like we were great personal friends or anything, but I felt at that time there's something wrong. I came away with the perception that you were distracted. Am I projecting?
Well, once I noticed the symptoms, if you had come in that period, I would have been very distracted.
It was his pinky finger. It wouldn't stop twitching. It would be a year before he found out why.
What did you know about Parkinson's?
Somebody's grandmother had it. I mean, it was not a thing that I noticed or thought about. It didn't enter into my world. I was a 29-year-old guy.
Did the doctor know who you were?
Yeah, and in fact, that's one of the few times in my life I felt like saying, do you know who I am? It's ridiculous. You can't tell me that. This was a case when I just thought, it's preposterous that this is happening to me.
His slurred speech, muscle stiffness, and tremors are the signature symptoms of the disease.
Simply, he said, you'll have 10 years left to work. They're working on some things. There's some things in the pipeline. And
he leavened it with a little bit of
of hope. But it wasn't enough for me. I felt very shocked by it.
Things like degenerative.
Yeah, progressive.
No cure.
Yeah, no cure. All stuff that now is just like irrelevant to me. I'm not about measuring how long something will last or how long can I do this and how long. It's pointless. It's just another thing that you face and you carry on.
But there was a long private struggle before he went public.
I took 7 years between when I was diagnosed and when I went public with it. So I took a long, selfish period of time when I just dealt with how it affected me and was concerned with me and an accent on me.
Lady and gentlemen would step forward. We will.
Finally revealing his diagnosis in 1998.
Mr. Fox, we're going to start with you.
And testifying before Congress.
As I began to understand what research might promise for the future, I became hopeful that I would not face the terrible suffering so many with Parkinson's endure. But I was shocked and frustrated to learn the amount of funding for Parkinson's research is so meager.
In 2000, he went all in. Fox formed a team to raise money targeted toward research that would lead to improved treatments to slow, stop, or reverse the progression of the disease. And someday, find a cure.
I like that poster. We don't just fund research, we fund results.
Yeah, well, that's the idea.
To date, the Michael J. Fox Foundation has raised more than $800 million from private donations.
Well, that's pushing $1 billion.
Not $1 billion, yeah.
Pushing $1 billion. And it's based on, predicated really on your impatience.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as happy-go-lucky as I seem to be and as at ease as with this as I seem to be, I mean, it sucks. I hate it, and I wish I wasn't in this situation, but it's been one of the great gifts of my life that I've been in the position to take my view of the suckitude of it and merge it with other people's view of the suckitude of it and try to find an answer.
Yeah, I mean, you've heard this 1,000 times, but it couldn't have happened to a better person.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting used to that idea.
No one here would argue.
Michael, are you the with the longest history in this
Well,
group?
I don't know. I suppose so. I mean, it's been 25 years since I was diagnosed.
25?
Yeah.
Okay, who's next after 25 years?
10 years.
10 years?
I'm at 11.
Yeah.
11?
11.
I'm at 18.
18? Mm-hmm. Well, you must have been very young.
Yeah, I was. I was 29 when my symptoms started coming out and 31 when I got the diagnosis.
Typically a late-in-life disease. Only 1 in 10 develops early-onset Parkinson's, like Fox did.
What was your first symptom?
Tremor.
These men and women are part of a Fox Foundation online database,
We need to provide all the information we can.
where patients join researchers in the quest for breakthroughs.
Oh, you tell them when your Parkinson's started, what was your first symptom, what types of symptoms do you get, what medications do you take, and the more information they get, the faster they'll get to a cure.
But you're not expecting a cure in your lifetime.
I'm not expecting a cure. I'm expecting vastly improved therapies, and I'll take that in the short term. Mm-hmm. I think that the idea of finding the eureka moment and the thing that cures it, as we understand cures, I don't know that that'll happen in the next 20 years, but I do think we'll have therapies where it's a vastly improved quality of life for people with Parkinson's.
Yet his own struggle is never far out of sight.
How are you doing? Right now, I've been talking to you and I'm fine. I'm fine with you, but you're fighting a battle over there.
Well, I mean, I'm also interacting with you in an intense way, and I'm keyed up, and I'm excited and engaged. And so that fires off all kinds of neurons and gets all kinds of things happening. But the principal thing is the exchange. So I'm much less concerned with being still and not being collaborative and engaged. I can make myself still, but I won't be as animated.
Show me what happens if you make yourself still. But we're not talking.
I can't talk. I start to move.
As soon as you start talking, you start to move?
Well, because things are firing. I have to think, and I think the same neurons that fire my thinking fire my body. I mean.
Good. Go. Hit it.
Michael J. Fox is more than the face of Parkinson's.
Breathe.
With 2 best-selling memoirs infused with his indomitable spirit and optimism, he's the face of hope.
It was actually his books that got me out of the first 2 years. I didn't plan for the future. I did nothing. I mean, I literally didn't even have a bank account, really. It was just like, I mean, I had no idea how long I was going to be functional. But reading the books, like, there was a level of just like ferocious positivity, of just like fierce optimism that got my fire lit again. But, you know, so thank you.
Now 57, Michael J. Fox is a grateful man. Married 30 years to actress Tracy Pollan, they have 4 children.
Unfortunately, I have my operation in a week's time, and I just want to make sure this is handled.
And he's still a working and award-winning actor.
Dyspnea from my kidney failure.
Do you presume there's still special things ahead of you?
Oh, yeah. Well, sure, lots. Not the least of which I think is finding a breakthrough for Parkinson's. And I look forward to grandkids, I look forward to weddings, and I look forward to books and acting projects.
So 50 years from now, do you think you'll be remembered for the Back to the Future movies or for a cure for Parkinson's?
I had a moment with somebody, and they said, I was just thinking about it. Someday there's going to be a cure for Parkinson's, and it's going to be because of you. And it was the first time that it really struck me, and not that I took it seriously, but I feel a part of something. I'm not necessarily leading it, not necessarily the reason that it's all going to happen, but I feel part of something that is much more special than if it happens. It's much more special than any movie or any TV show.